Hi everybody, this is your mat class and it's the class that we did last week, so it's week 2, so you're going to know really what we did last week. It's going to be the same this week, maybe with a little bit of advancement, but it's going to give you an opportunity to carry on doing your mat. You might prefer to do the mat class at home, you might still come to your class and use this as a little extra. So let's just get going, and please be careful using the modifications as you see fit, and let's just get going. So we're going to begin on the mat. You're just going to lift your arms up, stretch up towards the ceiling, reach all the way down, and just one more. Remember to breathe. Inhale and exhale. And then we laterally flex, bringing one arm up, coming up to come over. And just gently make this a sort of phase 1, all the way back up. And we go to the other side, coming up to come over. And then you can make it slightly more progressive, coming all the way up. Hold onto the wrist, and stretch a little deeper. If you want to add a little hip sway into the direction of the stretch, please do. And even the weight out on both feet, bring it all the way back and down, and we'll do exactly the same on the other side. Holding onto the wrist, make sure that you pull up and away as opposed to up and over and down. So really feeling that stretch, the little hip sway if you wish, and bringing it back all the way back up, and the arms come back down by your side. So you're going to come down on to the mat, and you're going to think about a little bit of warming up for your back, for your spine. A box position, a hand underneath each of your shoulders, and a knee underneath each of your hip sockets. Now find the softness in your low back, so make sure that you're not rounded like so. And once you do have that neutral spine, you're going to pull the bottom ribs very gently inwardly, very, very subtle, and you're going to make sure that that low hairline is lightly engaged. So from there, a simple cat stretch, beginning with the tail. Start to curl the tail a little underneath you. Try not to think curl, 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 curl. Think now reach the tail down towards the mat, pulling then the bottom ribs, the middle ribs, the upper ribs, the breastbone, the head drops down, and we have that lovely rounded spine. Then allow yourself to push the head and tail away from each other, passing through neutral, and then focus more on your upper middle back, reaching forwards as opposed to just dipping the low back. We'll repeat one more time. Pass through neutral, start to curl, and then lengthen your tail away from you. Bottom ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs, breastbone, dropping your head down. Really feel that stretch, and then send your head and tail away from each other. Almost a momentary pause as you focus on pushing the breastbone more forwards. Be careful you don't push the chin too far forwards. So really make sure this is your upper middle back that you're stretching, not just your neck. Back through neutral. And we're now going to add all of these together. So we're going to wag the tail to the side, lateral flexion, come into your cat stretch. Then you laterally flex to the other side and back into the Blackpool donkey. So it's a lateral flexion, a lateral flexion, and an extension. And then try and make it really fluid, finding that circumduction of the spine. We'll go the other way. Around and up, and around and up. So there's the wag of the tail, the cat stretch, the wag of the tail, the Blackpool donkey. And again, just keep that going and pause. So now we're thinking about warming up our legs a little bit more. So onto the knees, taking one foot forwards. Most basic version would just be like so. Your knee is directly over your ankle, and you can have the hands onto your thigh bone for stability if you wish. Now from there, you can make this more challenging, adding balance by elevating up off the back knee. To make this more challenging still, you can take the hands away, think about the upper body, think about the shoulder blades long and lengthened, a reach up through the soft palate and the roof of the mouth. And then from there, we can add to this still. You're going to take your same side hand down to the inside edge of your foot that is in front. Then bring your other arm all the way around. Let your eyes follow the direction of the arm above your shoulder. And you'll feel a nice little inner thigh stretch there as well. Bringing your hand back down, taking your other hand either side. You're now going to straighten that leg as best you can, bringing your hands a little further back. Push your breastbone so that your back becomes as flat as possible, and then lift those toes up. Feeling a stretch, calf, Achilles, hamstring. Again, be careful of your neck, that you don't overly push forwards. Keep the spine long and lengthened. And then slowly foot comes down, knee comes over ankle, hands come forwards. Bring your foot forwards. And if you can, from there we go straight into the other side. Modified first. Knee comes down. Hands to your thigh bone. Now be really careful that you haven't brought this hip too far forwards. Think about the knee over the ankle. Think about the hip flex. That's what we're doing, the hip flexion on that new side. Making it more progressive by elevating, pushing to the back heel. Remember the low hairline, the bottom ribs, the collarbones really open. Holding and breathing. Now, progression still, taking the same side hand down to the inside edge of that front foot. Then you can begin to open, letting your eyes follow the direction of the hand that is up towards the ceiling. Feel that inner thigh stretch. Breathe into the back and the base of your lungs. And then slowly that hand comes down. It comes to the other side. And you're going to, from there, find a little hamstring, Achilles and calf stretch. Hands come a little further back. Push the breastbone forwards as best you can. Flex deeply through that front foot, through that ankle. Push the big toe a little away from you, the little toe a little towards you, and breathe as you stretch. And then slowly from there, bring that foot down. Knee comes forwards, hands come forwards. If you can, bringing that foot so that they're nice and even, and then we'll just bring it down onto the mat to begin the mat work. So remember that this is some of the original 34 moves. We have modifications throughout, so please be sensible, know your limits. We're going to begin by rolling all the way down, drawing the tail underneath you, create length, all the way down, and pause. Now from here, we're going to begin with lovely long legs. When your legs are out in front of you, try to glue the big toes together, feeling an activation of your inner thighs as you push the feet together. Now remember how carefully we bring the head, neck and chest up. A little tiny lengthening at the back of the neck. Feel your bottom ribs lightly connected towards the mat. A level sacrum. And you're going to breathe out, lift your head, neck and chest up. Reach your right leg away from you. Lift the arms until they're about level with your hips. And we're going to pulse the upper arm bone, that is your humerus bone, vigorously to challenge the stability of your upper body and your spine. So we inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be careful that your head does not end up like this. Keep looking forwards. We'll take a break. Leg comes down, head, neck and chest comes down. We do the other side. Take breaks for as long as you need to. Inhale. And as you exhale, length at the back of the neck, pick your head, neck and chest up. Really feel you're pushing your sacrum away. You're lifting your waist out of your pelvis as you reach the left leg away. And we inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull that low hairline in. Take a break if you need a break. One more set. And slowly pause. Lay that leg down, glue the legs together and bring your head, neck and chest down. Keep the collarbones beautifully open. Now the progression will be 2 legs lifted. If you need a modification, drag one leg into bent knee, drag the other leg into bent knee, and you would just simply do your progression like so. So if that's where you need to be, please bring your legs to that position now. But if you can, it is week 2, we're going to progress with both legs. Big inhale into the back and the base of the lungs. As you lift your head, neck and chest on the exhale, reach your legs away from you, push that sacrum away, lift your waist out of your pelvis, and we inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. A vigorous pulsing of the arms. Imagine a large piece of fruit between your chin and your chest. You can pause there, lay the legs down and lay the head, neck and chest down. Keep the legs glued together. We're going to do a roll up. Taking the arms all the way back behind you, we'll do a modified roll up if that is what you require. So the arms would come up, the palms would come underneath the space between your waist. If there is no space, just find the palms pretty much around about your waistband. Lift your head, neck and chest up as lightly as possible, but as evenly as possible. You press into the hands until you find your seat bones, bringing the arms around, and if it feels okay to you, just a very gentle stretch forwards. If you can, we continue with the more progressive version. Can you flex at your ankles? Bringing your arms up, little bit of length at the back of the neck, flex your ankles, imagine a brick wall against your feet. And inhale to prepare and exhale, lift your head, neck and chest up. Bring the arms down a little, send your feet into the brick wall as you come all the way up and over and reaching, imagining you're like a giant old-fashioned magnet. And again, shoulder blades long and lengthened, bringing it all the way down sequentially to the mat, bring the arms back. Now we're going to try to keep this fluid. So push the sacrum away from you, push the feet into the wall. Feel yourself rounding, rounding, rounding like a giant magnet shape. And again, bringing it down, 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 all the way back. The absolute correct breathing would be an inhale to lift the head, neck and chest. Now an exhale as you bring it all the way up and over. Now we're going to go on to the roll over. Now if you can't, you could just stay doing roll up, or this is where you could just stop by bringing one leg up, by bringing the other leg up. By reaching both legs up towards the ceiling, perhaps flex and point, play about with a bit of ankle mobility. Maybe you could take your hands behind your legs. Just play about with working on a straight leg. If roll up is difficult for you, you should not be trying the roll over. However, if you are good at the roll up and you enjoy the roll over, we'll do it now. A little point of the toes, a long neck, open collarbones, draw the hip bones lightly backwards, come up to come over, flex deeply through your ankles, feel your hamstrings, and lay the bones down with open collarbones. Just to be on the safe side, we could take a little bend into the knees and reach the legs up, all the way up to come over. Keep thinking, long, long neck, weight is onto your shoulders and not onto your neck. All the way down, down, down. You can take your legs a little further away from you to be more progressive. And again, breathe out as you come up and over. Flex deeply through those ankles. Open the collarbones and lay the bones down, 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 down. We'll just do one more. Slightly more progressive would be to bring it up and over. Part your feet about shoulder width apart.
Push through your heels, straighten the legs as best you can, and lay those bones down, 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 down. We'll point, bring the legs together, bring the knees in, and just give yourself a little hug for a moment. We're going straight on to circling of your thigh bone, so a leg circle. If you need a break, take a moment, few thigh bone circles, one way, the other way. Please don't feel you have to rush, you can always pause the video. You're going to reach your left leg long and lengthened. You may want to put some sort of towel or a cushion or a block underneath your head, it's up to you. We begin with a hamstring stretch in preparation. Reach your right leg up towards the ceiling and pause, and then from there you can flex, you could slide the hands a little further up if that feels doable to you. The flexion of the ankle will make this more challenging for you. Now in this position, push your sacrum away from you. Try to find a little bit of an release of pressure off the low back. And then from there, we're going to bring it into a bent knee position. 90-90. That thigh bone directly over your hip socket. Flex deeply through your ankle on the non-working side. Stability is absolutely paramount, so of paramount importance. From here, arms may be more comfortable in a capital E position or a T position. We'll begin by bringing the right thigh bone across, circling around and all the way back in. So really focus on not letting your pelvis shift, really focus on mobilizing the hip, full range of movement, and pause. From there, we'll try progression with a long reaching leg. We come across, around, all the way back up and pause. Across, around, all the way back up and pause. Across, around, keep length in your spine, all the way up and pause. Back to bent knee, and whenever you're ready, we're going to try the modified bent knee circle going the other way. Circling for 1 and 2. Keep those collarbones open, the imaginary gold rings around your neck. Breathing wide and full. We'll pause, reach up, and we circle. Remember the direction you were going in, it's just progressive by extending that lever length. So you're not moving at all through your pelvis, absolutely stable, and stable through your outstretched leg. And then you're going to pause, a little bend into that knee, relax the outstretched leg. Opposite hand, left hand to the outside edge of right knee, and gently roll that leg across the body, looking towards your outstretched hand. Now playing about even with the position of your right thigh bone might just change the stretch through the hip, through the low back. Keep breathing, keep a sense of length through your sacrum and up through the crown of your head. Slowly bringing it all the way back with care, all the way down, and make sure the pelvis is nice and square before we begin exactly the same on the other side. Dragging the left leg in, hamstring stretch first, reach the leg up towards the ceiling, a little bit of flexion and more progressive. Depending on how tight the back of your leg is, see if you could bring your hands a little bit higher. Now remember, try and find a little bit of space, albeit imaginary, underneath the low back. Bottom ribs gently in, keep breathing. You can widen the elbows, whatever feels good to you. And then you're going to pause again, back to bent knee. Take your time to make sure you haven't hiked that left hip into capital E arms or out to T position. And whenever you're ready from there, you're going to come across the midline, reach the leg away, all the way around and back to center. You can flex your right ankle. Imagine that you're pushing your foot against a brick wall on the right. Really controlling the upper abs, the middle abs, the lower abs, which are controlling your shoulders, your rib cage, your pelvis. We'll just do one more, around, 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 and pause. We try for the straight leg, same direction, bringing it around, all the way up. And make sure that you're breathing as you're circling, focusing on lifting your waist out of your pelvis. And at the same time, you are lengthening your sacrum away from you. Back to bent knee, modified bent knee circles going in the other direction. Keep those collarbones open, relaxed hands, breathing all the time. Around and pause. The more progressive straight leg circle, reaching around and back up. Try and keep that pelvis as level as possible, around and around. Enjoy it, bringing it around, pause, back to bent knee, and we'll just take a little stretch by taking the outside edge of your left knee, drawing that left knee across the body, and pause. Now really lengthen through your sacrum as you perhaps take the eyes to look towards the outstretched hand. Feel that length, the bottom ribs gently drawn in, and then slowly bring it all the way back. Drag your right leg in, and again, if you need any sort of break, that might be something a little more dynamic where you're moving to release. It might be that you just hang out, just hugging. Just hug your knees. Don't do anything, just take a moment, just breathe and let your body just come back to a state of ready. So from here, the next movement is rolling like a ball. Now our linking move is going to be a telltale for you if you're able to do the actual rolling like a ball. So please don't do rolling like a ball if it's too difficult to get this little linking move. If you want to bypass this one, please do. An inhale to prepare, and this time an exhale to lift the head, neck and chest up. So if you push your thigh bones a little further away from you, drawing your hands a little further down, widening your elbows, you can feel that as you move the thigh bones away from you, it's helping you to come up a little. Now we begin to rock gently. I don't care how many rocks it takes you. Keep drawing the low hairline gently in, and eventually with the bottom ribs pulled in, you can come up, find your seat bones, lift your eyes. Now from here, make sure there's plenty of space behind you. We prepare for rolling like a ball. Mobility exercise, little massage effect for your back. So sit beautifully tall. You'll begin with your feet flat, your hands onto your shins. Remember what it was like to do a cat. Okay, we're back. It's like technical hitch. Rolling like a ball. Sorry, it's a slightly different time of day outside. Lights might feel a little brighter. Rolling like a ball always follows your leg circles in the classical order. Make sure you've got enough space behind you, nothing that you're going to roll onto. And you're going to sit super tall, and you're going to remember the cat stretch at the beginning of the class. So allow your tail to curl underneath you and reach away from you. Pull the belly button, the bottom ribs, the middle ribs, the upper ribs, the breastbone backwards, and drop your eyes a little down. Now from there, bring each foot one at a time in towards you, and you'll know when to stop. So you just bring them in. You won't get much further than so. Your heels are still up, your toes are touching the floor. You can hold the shins just very lightly with both of your hands, and again draw your tail more underneath you, almost feeling as though you're reaching your tail away from you, reaching that sacrum, the belly button pulling towards the mat, the bottom ribs, the middle ribs, the upper ribs, the breastbone, the eyes remaining, looking at perhaps a seam on the trousers, the upper inner thigh, or focusing on perhaps just a point somewhere that you don't take your gaze off that point. Take a wide full inhale, and as you exhale, perhaps glue the legs a little towards each other and hover your legs up. That should come from your stomach and not from the low back. To make it easier, if you've got a big lumbar curve, for example, you can hold your hands underneath your knees. That makes it easier. But if you can, you'll keep your hands onto your shins. So you'll inhale as you roll back, exhale, back up. And again, an inhale to roll back and exhale to bring it back. And again, inhale and exhale. Keeping that C curve all the time. Try not to roll back onto your head, keeping it just to about the top of your shoulders. Treat it like a massage, but very definitely focusing on the breath and focusing on maintaining your shape. And finishing that one and pause.
Now we're going to do this series of five abdominal exercises. 2 ways you can come into the start position. If you want a slightly modified version, you can take your knees to one side if you're watching your flexion, bringing it all the way down onto your back, and then from there, one leg up, other leg up, lifting head, neck and chest, and you would reach one leg away like so. If you would like a slightly more advanced version and very definitely looking at more flexion of the spine here, we'll begin with one leg reaching out and the right leg coming in towards you. Now your top hand, your left hand will go onto the top of your right knee and your right hand onto your shin. Slowly from there, draw the hip bones lightly backwards, send the sacrum away from you and elevate that left leg with control, just as you did when you were doing the 100 at the beginning of the class. Control as you bring it down, almost using your right leg a little bit like an anchor to pause in this position. Trying to think about each of your shins almost acting in the same angle, the same pattern. From there, we pull, pull and switch. A gentle pull, pull and switch. Now the action of your legs is challenging the stability of your spinal position. Pull, pull and switch. Pull, pull and switch. Keep imagining a large piece of fruit between chin and chest. Try not to let your head come like this. So try and keep the eyes looking forwards. Pull, pull and switch. Last one and pause. Now both hands can come together and behind your middle skull. Thumbs perhaps down both sides of the neck. Try not to clamp the elbows in towards each other and similarly don't have them too wide. Keep your tail long and lengthened. We'll break the double leg stretch down into a simplified version by inhaling as you reach the legs away from you and exhale back into the center start position. And again, inhale, reaching away, and exhale, glue those legs and feet together. One more, inhale, and an exhale. Now from there, a slightly more advanced version will be taking your hands either sides of your knees. You're going to only reach your arms back as far as about your ears and add the leg reaching away as well. Circle your arms all the way around and back into start position. It's an inhale and circle and exhale. Imagine the tips of your ears, the tops of your ears, they're rounding forwards towards your knees. And inhale and circle around to exhale. Last one, inhale, glue those legs together, circle the arms and exhale, pause. We'll take a little break on the neck, modify again as we bring the head down and take both legs up towards the ceiling. Now bring one leg in towards you. Remember we were here when we did the preparation for our leg circles. We had a little hamstring stretch in this way. You're going to lower your other leg down, not quite to the floor. You'll pull, pull a little and we'll switch. Make sure that the switch happens higher rather than lower because it's easier on your back. Bringing it in, pull, pull, and a switch. One more each side, and switch, pull, pull, and pause with both legs up. A more progressive version.
Lift your head, neck and chest up. Clasp those hands behind the middle skull again. Make sure the head is quite happy here. And slowly taking the hands to one leg, you're going to lower your left, pull, pull with the right. Lower the right, pull, pull with the left. Keeping this going, and make sure that the movement of the legs does not interfere with the position of the spine. So you're trying to keep your pelvis stable, trying to stay flexed through that upper body. Pull, pull and switch. Pull, pull and switch. Last one, each side, pull, pull and pause with both legs up. Clasp your hands together, put them behind the middle skull. Take a break if you need one. Again, be careful of the position of your elbows. Keep the shoulder blades soft down your back. This is your modified version. So the double leg. You can keep the knees in a bent knee position like so, and very slowly maintaining the angle behind your knees, taking the feet towards the floor and back up like so. And again, an inhale perhaps as you take your legs towards the floor, and an exhale back up. Now that is your modified version. The full version is the straight leg. Glue them together. Now we lower just as far as you can manage, and bringing them back up as you exhale. So inhale towards the floor, exhale back up. The lower you go, the more challenging this will be. Remember, we were about here for our 100. So you've been there before, but please, if you feel this in your low back, keep the range really, really small. Last one, gluing those legs together and all the way back up, and pause. Now our last exercise, the crisscross, reaching left leg away from you. You're going to rotate your upper middle back towards your bent knee, and then we switch legs. Make your gaze look far, far away from you to ensure that you are not clamping the chin towards the chest. Really focus on the stability from the waist down, but the mobility of that middle upper back. Let your elbow on the underside feel heavy to ensure that you really find that rotation and that you're not just pulling on your skull. And again, reach that far away leg away from you. Reach. Last one, reach, bringing it back in, and take a little moment. So that is your series of 5 abdominal exercises. You can release with leg circles like so, a couple one way, a couple the other, or you might just hug in for a moment. Now we're going to bring it up to a seated position, and I want you just to focus on how you're going to do that. Perhaps you do a little rolling like a ball. Perhaps you'd like to open the hip a little and do a roll up, or take your knees to one side and just push yourself carefully up. I'm going to do a roll up so the arms come back behind me, bringing the arms up. A little bit of length at the back of the neck as you inhale to bring your head, neck and chest up. Send the sacrum away from you, and exhale, bringing it all the way up. We could take a little stretch forwards there. Restack low back, middle back, upper back, eyes. From there, we're going to do our spine stretch forwards. And to do this, if you're struggling to sit up, you might prefer to stick a little cushion or a towel underneath your seat bones. Remember also, we have that method where we put our hands onto our knees, the palms onto the knees, and you gently drew the knees into the palms, feeling that your seat bones get a little more weighted in towards the mat. And just focus on how it softens your low back a little. So that is an option if you're struggling to sit up. So really focus on the position of your spine. Otherwise, if you can, lovely straight legs. Feet are just shy of about mat width apart, and are flexed in the ankle joint, making sure that we're using the hamstring, so really lengthening the hamstring and the whole of the back of the leg. We'll begin with the arms up, level with about the shoulders, a small bend into the elbow,
to make sure that you don't lift the shoulders up. If your arms are too straight, sometimes that creates tension in the shoulders. Sitting super tall. I want you to think about the oppositions of sacrum reaching straight down and your waist lifting right up. So you're lifting almost out of your pelvis with your waist. So a little bit of length at the back of the neck, as though somebody was brushing the hair up the nape of the neck the wrong way. And then slowly, as you push that sacrum downwards and as you lift up out of your pelvis with the waist, you're going to take your head forwards, imagining your arms were on a glass table, and you're only going as far as you can maintain the weight through your seat bones. Slowly from there, you'll restack the low back, the middle back, the upper back, the eyes. One more, a little bit of length at the back of the neck. Anchor those seat bones, lift the waist out of the pelvis, and again, you're reaching forwards through the crown of the head. Imagine that suction cup pulling you forwards and forwards and forwards and forwards. Be careful of your ribs that they don't drop down. And slowly restack upon your seat bones, the low back, the middle back, the upper back, and the eyes. Now on this next one, we can add a little bit to this if you wish. We're going to add a little bit of back extension. So the seat bones are pushing downwards. The waist is lifting out of your pelvis as you reach and pause. Keep flexing your ankles, pushing your big toes a little away from you, little toes towards you. Thumbs now come up, the palms are facing each other. You'll lift the head up so that the eyes are looking directly towards maybe a meter or so in front of your mat. Push your breastbone forwards and lift it up. So we're now trying to get as straight a back in this angle as possible. So keep pushing the breastbone forwards, lifting it upwards. And then take just the humerus bone, that's elbow to shoulder, as far back as you can manage, keeping your arms as straight as possible. And you're going to lead with the thumbs as you pulse the humerus bone back and back. Keep the length in your neck, so don't push your chin forwards. Back and back. Trying to keep the back as straight and as still as possible. We'll do 3 more, and 2 more, and 1 more, and then slowly allow everything to round forwards, restacking low back, middle back, upper back, and eyes. From there, we're going to allow our hips to open now. So we have options here. If you have any kind of knee issues, I would recommend that you stand. You hold a wall, you perhaps hold the foot, reaching your knee straight down. So it would look like so, keeping the knees pretty much in alignment with each other. If you are able to, we're going to do a little stretch like so. So we'll have the foot that is not on the stretching side about halfway in front of your knee. From there, your hands will come back, like so. Draw your hip bones lightly backwards, lift the pubic bone up a little, and from there, as though you're almost going into a bridge position, lifting the pelvis up just a touch, squeeze the bottom cheek on the stretching side. So that is the left side for me. And as I squeeze that bottom cheek, I can feel that big muscle down the front of my left thigh stretching. Lower the bottom for a moment and we'll repeat 1 more time. Make sure the collarbones are open. Allow yourself to draw the hips back a little. Start to lift the pelvis up, almost as though you were going into a bridge whereby you tip the hip bones backwards and lift the pelvis up, leading with the pubic bone. Now squeeze the bottom cheek on that left side. Slowly from there, you'll bring it down and allow your foot to come towards the center of the mat when you release. And we'll switch and do the other side. Obviously, if you're doing the standing work, then we will change sides. So from here, hand behind you, draw the hip bones lightly backwards and start to elevate the pelvis a little upwards. Feel here that you can squeeze the bottom cheek on the right side, and you should feel that lovely big stretch all down this big rectus femoris muscle, one of our large hip flexors. Allow it to come down, and we'll do one more. So hip bones come back ever so slightly, elevate the pelvis from the pubic bone, lifting up until you feel that stretch, and to add to the stretch you would squeeze a little the bottom cheek. So squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then very slowly let that foot come to the center, and we'll move on. So we're going to do another one of our hip flexor stretches, which we have done quite a lot in the classes. So we will put a hand over hand just as you feel that you are nicely centered. Reach both legs out so that they are coming directly out of the hip socket, so we've got good bony alignment. You're going to bend the knee on the left and hold the toes of the left foot. Lovely long neck, open collarbones, soft shoulder blades. Just think about lengthening your left thigh bone down towards the end of the mat. And then from there, if you have a good and healthy knee, you'll pull that heel a little more towards the bottom. And from there, you can pull that thigh bone in towards the back of your hamstring. So almost lifting that thigh bone up in towards the back of the hamstring. Quietly release. We'll do exactly the same on the other side. So you bend the knee, you hold the foot, you think lovely long and lengthened spine, and you're going to slowly from there reach that thigh bone away from you. So firstly you're thinking length, especially at your hip crease, and then pulling, as long as the knee is healthy, the heel in towards the bottom. We're going to lift that thigh bone a little more into the back of your hamstring. So lifting the thigh bone up in towards that hamstring. And then quietly release like so. So we do have two exercises that follow each other that Joseph Pilates created to also open the front of the hip, work the hamstring, work the bottom. So we're going to begin with our single leg kick. Make two fists and keep your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. Neck is long, and think about your rib cage. So we don't want our ribs to be collapsed down. Try and draw your ribs in a little, imagining there was a sling underneath your rib cage. Breathing wide and full into the base of the lungs. You're going to start to think about the alignment again of those thigh bones. And you're going to now think about your bottom, and just squeeze the bottom very gently, and then think about the upper inner thighs and squeeze them in towards the bottom too. That should provide your back with a little bit more support. You're now going to take the left leg, you're going to bend it in, and you're going to kick, kick, and bring it back down. You take your right leg in, kick, kick, and bring it back down. Left, kick, kick, bring it back down. Now you're trying to keep your upper body as stable as possible. Keep the neck super long, and again, kick, kick, and down. 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 One more, and down. Now the double leg kick. Bring it all the way down, and you're going to put the four fingers of one hand into the palm of the other. You'll hold the hands as high up the back as you can manage, and let your elbows feel heavy. Rest onto your chin, onto your cheek on one side, not clamping the chin in towards the chest. Now from there, keep long and lengthened legs, still squeezing the buttocks towards each other and drawing the upper inner thigh in towards the buttocks. And from there, both legs now draw in, and you kick one, you kick two, you kick three. The feet reach out, the legs are long, the arms reach away from you. You open the collarbones, shortening your middle upper back, and slowly we bring the other cheek down to the mat. Bring your hands high, your elbows heavy,
And again, kick in 1, kick in 2, kick in 3, and push the legs away from you. Reach the arms down way beneath your sacrum with your hands. Open the collarbones. And again, bringing yourself onto the cheek, alternating each side. Elbows heavy, hands high. Kicking in 1, kicking in 2, kicking in 3, and reach super long. Open the collarbones. No chin pushing forwards. Keep the length in the neck. And again, bringing it down to the other cheek. Hands high, elbows heavy, kicking in 1, kicking in 2, kicking in 3, and push the legs away from you. Keep the feet down, keep holding the hands. Keep opening your collarbones and breathing. 1 more each side. To the side, hands high, elbows heavy, kicking 1, kicking 2, kicking 3, and reach everything. Open your chest. Last one, down onto the other cheek, hands high, elbows heavy. Kicking in 1, kicking in 2, kicking in 3, and reach everything out. Reaching long and resting it down. So from here we're going to go into a little bit of swan, some modified swan. You're going to have your hands onto the floor, either side of your mat, so not onto your mat. Eyes look straight down, again legs beautifully long and lengthened, sacrum reaching towards your feet, lifting ever so slightly your ribs away from the mat. Taking a wide full inhale. You're going to slowly lift the head, neck and chest up and pause. Doesn't have to be big, this may be where you stay. But then if you would like to advance it a little, find the palms, keep the... Apologies. Second technical hitch. Now we'll go on from here. So we've just stretched the back out after doing our swan dive. So now we're going to do a little bit of spine twist. So something you can do is use your mat, roll it up, and this is a really useful way of just lifting your hips a little higher off the floor to make sure that you don't take this into your hip flexors. So you can sit in a little diamond position, sit really tall, feel that length in your spine, and try and keep the bones still. So if you see your feet moving, your knees lifting, your pelvis twisting, you need to just reduce your range a little and focus on really getting the middle upper back to do this work. So from here, classically, the hands were held behind the middle skull. If this isn't comfortable for you, please try a little capital E, a Cossack, crossed over, arms out to the side. There are always options, but we'll begin with the hands behind the middle skull. So from the waist down, imagine that you're set in concrete. And you're going to take a wide full inhale into the back and the base of the lungs, and as you exhale, pushing your seat bones downwards, really keeping those feet still, the thigh bones still, the knees still, the shins still. You're going to rotate to one side, bringing it all the way back through centre. Breathing pattern, preferably an exhale as you rotate away from the centre line, and an inhale as you come back to centre. And again, exhale, 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 and an inhale to come back to centre. Keep driving the seat bones downwards, the sacrum straight into the mat, and in opposition, you're lifting out of your pelvis with your waist. So lift and grow super tall. Back through centre, one more, to the side, and all the way back, and pause. Now from there we could try with our arms a little longer out to the side and change the breath. So we'll exhale as we go out to the side, pause, take a wide full inhale here. And as you exhale, just see if you can use the breath to get a little bit more middle back rotation all the way back to the center. We will exhale, exhale, exhale. We'll inhale. And then exhale, rotate that little bit deeper. Inhale back to center, one more each side. Exhale, 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 pause. Make sure the arm doesn't get pulled forwards as you inhale, inhale. And exhale, just rotate that little bit more.
all the way back on your inhale. One more. And we'll exhale, 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 exhale. Keep your eyes up. Lovely gold rings around your neck, keeping you long. And you've done your inhale, then exhaling a little bit more rotation. All the way back on an inhale, bringing your arms all the way down by your sides, and you can release for a moment. So when you've stabilized, sometimes it's quite nice to then just mobilize your back. From here, we're going to add our spine stretch forwards and our spine twist together. But a quick note, if ever you've had a slipped disc, herniated disc, ruptured disc, however you recognize it, bulging disc, you never add rotation and forward flexion. So it doesn't matter how historical, even if it was 20 years ago, please maybe just keep this to the rotational element, okay? So if you are doing the saw, you're going to have your feet a little bit wider than the mat, sitting up tall. If you need a little block, then do, but I wouldn't advise sitting on the chunky mat, otherwise it might tip you forwards too much. Arms come out to the side. You're going to rotate as you did a moment ago, flexing your ankles, drawing your toes towards your shins. You're going to bring your left hand forwards, your right arm back. Keep the shoulder blades long and lengthened. Back thumb is pointing down. Now a little bit of length at the back of the neck. Keep thinking length as you start to come up, to come over. Drive your seat bones down. Restack upon your seat bones, the low back, the middle back, the upper back, the eyes, bringing it all the way back through center. We go the other way, bringing it around and pause. Your right hand comes round. Your left hand is almost as though it could slap something behind you with your thumb pointing down. Little bit of length at the back of the neck. Lift your waist out of your pelvis and bring it up to come over. So now we've thought about a little bit of the technique, we can speed it up a touch. Lifting up to come over. Restack, low back, middle back, upper back, eyes, and again, rotate with flow, coming up to come over. Restack, low back, middle back, upper back, eyes, rotate, 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 thumb faces down, lift, and come up to come over. Called the saw as we pretend that we are sawing off the little toe. If you can't get that far, it really doesn't matter. Bring it all the way back and just bring your knees in and give yourself a little hug for a moment. Perfect. We're going to come now onto our sides and do a little bit of side work. So coming all the way down, I want you to think about how comfortable you are when you're in this lying position. Ideally, we're going to rest onto one hand, but if that's not good for your neck, outstretch your arm, or you can bring your arm, if this is not easy for you, bring your arm so it's perpendicular to the body and maybe get a couple of towels, some books, blocks, something that you could put underneath your head. But ideally, we've got ourselves into just resting the head onto the palm. Your underside leg is long and lengthened, okay? So you're really thinking about the position now of that underside leg. If the top leg is reaching directly underneath you, your underside leg is a little in front of you. I've externally rotated it, so I'm just pushing down into my little toe in particular. Really push length into that leg. Now push your top seat bone away from you, really feeling that your waist lifts a little away from the mat. You may have to reposition that underside arm a touch there. Top hand just tucks in against your ribs. Flex deeply through your ankle, and you're going to kick forwards and you're going to point back. We kick forwards, keeping the leg at about hip height, forwards and taking it back. So we work the hamstring and then we open the hip and work the bottom. Forwards to kick it back. We go forwards to kick it back. One more to kick it back. Now pause. Heel to heel, nice straight legs in an external rotation, top and bottom leg. You're going to lift up and lower down. Perhaps point up, flexing it down. Pointing up, flexing it down. Pointing up,
flexing it down. I'm really trying to keep my top seat bone pushed away from me. Keep breathing, relax your shoulders, no looking at your legs. So try and keep, if you can, a long neck, and pause. Now your top leg goes directly out underneath your seat bone. So as though you were almost standing on it. And we're going to do little circles. Circle, 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 circle. So try and keep them small. Focus on the circles coming from the thigh bone. Really straight leg, really small and quite rapid. And then we pause and we go the other way. Circle, 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 circle. Keep thinking. Breathe into the back and the base of your lungs. And pause there. No tension in your neck. Allow your heel to heel again. Feet should be absolutely even so you're not hiking one hip. And then slowly from there you're going to lift up. You're going to take the foot and push it all the way down the length of the leg so both heels are even again. We lift up, point and reach. Lift up, point and reach. Lift up, point and reach. Up, point and reach. Up, point and reach. One more and reach, and we'll go the other way, dragging the leg up. Reach up, flex, and heel to heel. Drag it up, reach, flex, heel to heel. Drag it up, reach, flex, heel to heel. Drag it up, reach, flex, heel to heel. One more, reach up, flex, heel to heel, pause. And now simply bring that foot so it's a little in front of you. Take your underside leg so that it's reaching directly underneath you, and from your upper inner thigh we lift and lower. Imagine a cloth on the sole of your foot, cleaning a window. Lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower. Find that upper inner thigh, that's where you're moving from. Hold it here, reach your top seat bone away from you, and we're going to do little pulses. 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4, 3, 2 and 1. Relax something, be it your cheekbones, your collarbones, your shoulder blades. 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and lower it down. Place that foot on top. A little transition from left to right, doing some heel beats. So hand over hand, legs super long. Reach your sacrum away from you. Lift up out of your waist with that almost lengthening exhale. So I want you to think about drawing your heels towards each other, and then you're going to beat them together for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. Make your legs even longer. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. Hold that low hairline in. Last set. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. Lower the legs, and we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So spinning it around, think about the position of the underside arm. Remember, here is an option, here very definitely an option. And you're going to reach that top leg long and lengthened. And then you can position with greater ease the underside leg in an external rotation. So I'm almost balanced a little onto that little toe, but I'm pushing that leg away from me. From here, the top hand, remember, tucks in, right in by your ribs to stop you from pushing your ribs out, but also it's a nice stabilizer. So top leg, flex, bring that foot forwards and point to bring it back. Now you might find that one side is easier to stabilize on than the other, so just do your best. Remember the importance of the upper abs to stabilize your shoulders, to help you to stabilize your shoulders, middle abs to stabilize your rib cage, lower abs to stabilize your pelvis. Keep breathing as you go. Swing, it feels quite nice on the leg. One more and pause. Now from there, heel to heel. Those heels should feel even. And you're going to lift up and you're going to lower. You lift and lower. You can point and flex. Point and flex and point and flex. Could you relax something in the upper body? Be it your jaw, your cheekbones, your eyes. Keep looking straight ahead. One more and pause.
Take that top leg so that it's a little behind the underside, and we're going to circle and circle and circle and circle, quite vigorous, focusing on the thigh bone, not your feet. Circle and circle and circle and circle. Keep drawing the low hairline gently in. Keep breathing. Pause. We go the other way. Circle and circle and circle. Can you make yourself feel longer from the crown of the head to the tip of your toe? Circle and circle. And one side might be, or one direction might be easier than the other. And pause. Now from there, heel to heel again. You're going to lift up, bend, reach that leg super long away from you. Lift, bend and reach. Lift, bend and reach. You don't need to go this fast. Lift, bend and reach. Lift, bend and reach. Feel how your hips are getting warmer. Lift, bend and reach. Be careful the top hip doesn't roll backwards too much. So try and stay hips stacked on top of each other. We'll go the other way. Draw it all the way up, reach and down. Point, reach, flex, down. Point the toe, reach, flex and down. Point, reach, flex and down. Two more, reach, flex and down. Feel your hip getting warm. And pause here. Now slowly, top foot comes a little in front. Underside leg directly under hip. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. So imagine a cloth on the sole of the foot cleaning that window that is just underneath the sole of your foot, and flexed in the ankle, lifting and lowering. We're going to hold it up there, pause, doing little pulses, lifting from up at the top of your thigh bone for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more set, 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Slowly lower down, bend both knees in. We're going to finish with a little plank and a little side plank. If you're done and you want to just leave it as it is, please do. But otherwise, hand, hand, knee, knee, a little box position. Feel the softness in your low back. So don't have yourself dipped, don't have yourself arched. Pull the bottom ribs a little inwards and really reach that sacrum away from you, pulling the low hairline gently in. We take one foot out. Imagine there's a sling keeping your back exactly in that position, and take the other foot out, holding it here. This may be where you stay, but if you can, pull a little one foot underneath you more and elevate that leg, just as we did when we were doing our swinging backwards and forwards. Bring that foot down, nothing's changed in the back as you lift the other leg up. Feel that bottom working. And lower, keep your neck super long. Push the mat away from your hands. So really push that mat away from you. One more, lifting up and lowering back down. A little side plank if you can. Spin your feet in the same direction as each other. Hand comes to the center and we lift all the way up, lifting your waist. And then bringing that hand down, spin the feet. And lift your waist. And one more each side. Spin the feet, lift the waist, reaching, reaching, reaching. And the last one, spin the feet. Hand is underneath the shoulder. Push away that mat, away from you. Lift your waist. Bringing the hand down, back through center. Bring each of your feet in a little. So we upside down V, like so. Relax your shoulders, widen your elbows a little, hang your head, spike your seat bones, lift the toes up, push your heels down. Keep the weight between big toe, second toe, and if you want a little stretch, we can release one heel, pushing the other heel down and lifting the toes on the pushing down heel side. Switch to the other side, heel down, toes up. Really feel that length between your seat bone and your heel. Pushing both heels down. Walk the hands if you can with straight legs, but if you need to bend, please do. Heavy, heavy head. Hands are well in front of your feet. No grippy toes. Take a wide full inhale into the back and the base of the lungs. Keep the weight centered on your feet as you slowly restack the low, middle, upper back, eyes, and then slowly from there, just breathe, Relax your shoulders. Bring your arms all the way up. Push those palms away from you. Open your heart. Bringing the arms all the way down by your sides. And just circle your shoulders a couple of times. And thank you.